afternoon, and welcome to the Eagle River High School graduation ceremony of 2019. To kick things off, please rise and remove all headgear for the presentation of the colors by Eagle River High School first-year state champion Air Force Junior ROTC Color Guard. The colors will be presented by Cadets Christopher Groom, Caden Shade, and Devin Wilcox, under the direction of Color Guard Commander Cadet Sarah Price. The national anthem will be sung by Ms. Alyssa Martinez, Ms. Miriam Schaufman, and Ms. Emily Whitty, under the direction of Mr. Lang, Choir Director.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. You may be seated. Hi, my name is Melanie Chafee, Senior Class President, and I am so excited to be your Master of Ceremonies today. I'd like to take a moment to welcome our several fabulous guests, including Superintendent Dr. Dina Bishop, School Board President Star Marcette, and our treasured principals, Mr. Tim Hits the Gym Helvey, Mr. Derek Hagler, and Miss McConnell. I'd also like to welcome all the staff members, friends, relatives, and many supportive parents that are here with us this afternoon. Lastly, please help me extend a warm welcome to the weird and wonderful one and only class of 2019. Class of 2019, here we are. I truly never thought that I would be sad about graduating high school. What's there to be sad about, right? It's supposed to be the end of all-nighters, early mornings, stress about leaving homework to the last minute, stress about doing homework early in the morning, stress about doing homework during lunch, stress about doing homework while the teacher's collecting it. Well, for one thing, a lot of us are going to college, and legend has it that stress is a very real part of college. But for another thing, over the past few months, as the last day of high school has gotten closer and closer, I've started to feel this unexpected sense of dread about leaving. Yes, high school is tough, and getting out of bed at 6:30 in the morning every day is not my idea of fun. But you all sitting in front of me are the people that I've had the privilege of laughing with, crying with, and sometimes even shaking violently with for 2 minutes. That was a reference to the earthquake, by the way. I swear I don't just violently shake my friends. 4 years is a long time. I think we've all seen each other at our best and at our worst throughout that time. We've all grown a great deal, but the real growth is what we do after our time at Eagle River High School, with the lessons that we've been taught, both by our peers and by our teachers. The exams may be over, for some of us, but we are never finished learning. And I truly am so glad that I got to spend the past 4 years stressing with you guys. We may not have ever won WACO, but neither have the faculty, barely. Out of all the people in the world, there is no group I'd want to have over this class of 2019. And on this note, I present to you our first speaker of the afternoon. He is a man of many talents. He's dedicated, driven, well-spoken, extremely intelligent, and humble. Besides being our valedictorian, he's also known as Mr. Fitness, which means he's literally constantly flexing on us. Next year, he plans to attend West Point Academy. Without further ado, let's hear it for our valedictorian with a GPA of 4.2, Colin Dykes.
Wow, thank you, Melanie. Words cannot express how grateful and how honored I am to be in front of all of you here today. Giving this speech is by far, one of the biggest highlights of my high school career. But if I can't make it memorable, I'll at least try and keep it short. I'd like to thank you all for actually showing up, because if you were anything like me, you were ready for high school to be over weeks and honestly months ago. But sitting here today at graduation was more than just our own doing. The support of our family, friends, and school staff was absolutely instrumental in getting us through our entire high school careers. So I think they are all more than deserving of a round of applause. Really though, we are fortunate to have some of the best school staff there are. Mr. Prinka, for starters, is often at school well before 6 a.m., if not around 5, and stays late into many afternoons to help his robotics team. Miss Keith, who I know has to deal with several freshman classes in the morning, would still stay after school for hours each Wednesday to help her physics class get ready for the AP exam, even after our school lost the NIMSY grant that was paying her extra to do so. And Miss Campbell is one of the hardest working and most intense people I know, while still being one of the most thoughtful and caring. I think I speak for just about everyone who has had her when I say that her classes are some of the most challenging, most rewarding, and most beneficial experiences you could have in high school. And Mr. Barra, I mean, how many high school art teachers are former Marines who run ultramarathons? I could go on and on. The caliber of our school staff is just tremendous. Just knowing that we have taken classes with teachers like this should instill us with an overwhelming sense of gratuity. So, talking about how fortunate we are to have all this brings me to this idea of perspective. I think for us, as individuals from generally stable backgrounds in a quiet American town, we tend to lose sight of how incredibly fortunate we are to be here. I mean, what are the odds? If we backtrack a bit and look at the odds for you in particular to be born, they're quite staggering. If we start with the odds for your parents to meet, assuming they meet a certain number of people each day, and go on to include the odds for them to be together long enough to even have a child, you're looking at about 1 in 40 million. But the odds for the right combination of the genetic information from each parent to occur in order to make you in particular was about 1 in 400 quadrillion. In order for this to happen, though, all of your ancestors had to live to reproductive age and have the right combination every time. Your lineage had to remain unbroken for the entire duration of human history. So we are left with 1 in 10 to the 2,685,000th power, or 10 followed by almost 3 million zeros. For comparison, the universe has only 10 to the 80th power, the number of atoms. So even if every particle in the universe had its own universe, that number would still pale in comparison to the odds of you being born. It's as if 2 million people played a game of dice with trillion-sided dice. They all roll their die, and they all get the exact same 12-digit number. So the odds of you being here are pretty much zero, all things considered. But the odds of you being born in a nation where the quality of life is half decent are small too, let alone the odds of you being born in the greatest nation in the history of the world. When it comes down to it, the majority of the world may never have the opportunity to get a quality high school education, and certainly not one in an institution like Eagle River High School. So my challenge to all of you, all of us really, is to recognize the moral obligation we have to make the most of this opportunity. I think all of us I think all of us, myself included, are so far away from tapping into our true potential, which is a genuine disservice to those less fortunate than us. A personal hero of mine, and maybe one for some of you too, is David Goggins. Put bluntly, he grew up as a black kid in a small Indiana town rampant with racism, prejudice, and even death threats. His father was an abusive alcoholic, and not long after high school, Goggins found himself as a morbidly obese man working as a cockroach exterminator. He explained that one day he came home from work, turned on the TV, and found a documentary on Navy SEAL training, and was forced to hold himself accountable for who he wasn't and who he wanted to be. Long story short, Goggins lost over 100 pounds, enlisted in the Navy as a SEAL, was medically dropped from SEAL training twice due to stress fractures, and ultimately passed training on his third attempt. He retired from the Navy after a 21-year career. Today, he is a world-class ultramarathon runner who runs races over 200 miles in length to raise money for the college educations of the children of fallen American service members. I should note he was born with a hole in his heart, or a congenital heart defect, which limited his heart's function to only about 3/4 of its capacity. My point is this: if someone like Goggins can come from nothing and become a member of one of America's elite special operations units and a world-class athlete, then perhaps all of us here, with all the support in the world, are capable of great things too. What separates individuals like him from anyone else in this nation isn't birth, circumstance, or some other innate factor beyond our control. It's the conscious decision to choose the hard, fulfilling, righteous path in life over the tempting path of comfort and mediocrity. Make the right decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. That was a really amazing speech. Our next speaker is someone I really only got to know this semester, but she's a presence we should all be so lucky to have in our lives. She thinks fast and speaks faster, so listen carefully to the deliverance of our graduation message by the legendary Miss Ballard.
Just like that. It was only yesterday that your parents got you ready for your first day of kindergarten, and now here you are, only minutes away from crossing the big graduation stage. I promise my speech will be over just like that, and you'll be one step closer to that big moment. My dad was a hard-working man. He owned a small gas station in Maine, and every year... Sorry, that's one of Mr. Lewis's speeches. Sorry about that. Here we are. My dad was a teacher from upstate Pennsylvania, and every year on the first day of school, he would walk myself and a growing line of siblings out to the bus stop. Weary-eyed from a summer sleep schedule and nervous-sighted with first-day jitters, he would reassure us with his finger-snap psychology. He would say, "I want you to remember today, because just like that, it will be the last day of school." And indeed, each year, as if conjured by magic, it was the end of the school year. Only a few snaps later, I would not only be graduated and done with school, but I would be walking my own daughter to the bus stop and teaching her the magic of the finger snap. And today, she's here with you as one of the graduating members of the class of 2019. I love you, and I'm proud of you. Not too long, I'll cry. My message today is certainly not for my daughter alone. I love and I am proud of all of you. You are a class that I have watched grow from awkward and inquisitive freshmen into fabulously talented and intellectual young men and women with bright futures ahead. I have so many fond memories of times along the way, and I'm sure that you do as well. I would like all of us, just for a moment, to think of one such memory. Everyone close your eyes just for a second, staff and families too, and think of one special memory associated with the class of 2019. What was the event? Who was there, and why is it special? Have you got it? Open your eyes. If your memory involved someone else in this room, I want you to raise your hand. If it involved more than one person in this room, raise both hands. Yeah, that's a lot of hands. Okay, you can put them down. I would guess with relative confidence that the vast majority of you thought of a time that expanded well beyond yourselves. I bet it was a time you spent with friends, connecting in a meaningful way. That is what I would like to speak to you about today. The connections that bring us closer together and remind us that we're better together. Social studies is the only content area that necessitates the addition of new content every year, regardless of innovation or radical change. With each generation comes new pages of textbook. I often wonder how your chapter will be read. Your generation quite literally has the world in your pocket. In a Google search or a Siri request, you have answers to questions that my generation would have had to have researched for days. Your generation has a power gifted to you by my generation. The Silicon Valley entrepreneurs of the 90s have given birth to a globally connected and instant access Generation Z. I wonder if you will thank or curse my generation for this gift. One with the power to connect the world that may instead be helping to facilitate the growth of already present social fractures. I say as both a teacher and as a parent, I fear that we may have failed you in our attempt to teach you balance and responsibility regarding something that we understand so lightly and oftentimes use so poorly ourselves. I'm sure I'm not the only person in the room, parents, who have struggled with these questions. How much is too much? How much is too little? Am I depriving my student and my child of their social life if I take away their phone? There's no resounding yes from you guys? Or am I helping to preserve their mental well-being? Do you still need to learn subjects like math, science, social studies when you have the world at your fingers? Last week, Mr. Ballarud and I watched students in the school parking lot jumping a dead battery, and they were all on their phones. And it occurred to me, do you still need to learn basic maintenance when it's simply easier to YouTube a skill when you need it? Conversely, I question, are the upticks in bullying, suicidality, and violence products of a growing divide and personal disconnect that comes from living behind the safe animosity of a screen? Is your generation truly woke, or are you lost in a cyberfuzz? A 2018 BBC survey noted that 3/4 of the world felt their nation more socially divided than a decade ago. They cited political, economic, ethnic, and religious differences as the reasons for that divide. According to the AP, last year saw the largest incidences of anti-Semitic violence in decades. 2018 also saw the highest number of US school shootings on record, with 118 students killed while attending school. In the spring of 1999, I was a sophomore at the University of Denver. One morning, my mother called me, panic-stricken. She was crying and saying something about a school shooting in Denver. Was I okay? Was I safe? I turned on my small TV in my dorm room, and I watched as students my age streamed out of a little high school called Columbine, just miles down the road from where I was, safe in my room. And I remember thinking, this is a fluke. This is a one-time horrible event. It has to be, because if it's not, there's something broken in our world. And yet, here we are 20 years later. I certainly don't pretend to have the answers to any of these problems, but I will say that I find them entirely unacceptable. People should not feel persecution because of where they come from or the religion that they practice. The only thing scary at school and involves running should be cardio day. How did we come to this place? And more importantly, how do we change it? If there's one small and basic thing that I can suggest to help combat these issues, it's that we rekindle our human connections. That we remember what makes us similar and brings us together. That we become informed and get to know each other. The most frequently quoted information source, both in my classroom and in my home, is they. It normally starts something like this. Oh yeah? Well, they say. Or something like, oh yeah, well, I've always heard that they say, to which my follow-up question, and my students know this, is always, who are they? Upon further investigation, they normally turns out to be something that someone heard a friend say, who heard it from another friend, who either one, saw it on YouTube, or two, read about it on social media. And thus they remains an anonymous and unvetted source of pseudo-information. Social media is not news. It's an echo chamber that reverberates with our own ideas. It tells us exactly what we want to hear and already believe. It harvests your likes and dislikes. It discerns patterns and feeds you stories that it knows that you will agree with. It allows us to believe, to say, and even do things that might otherwise be reprehensible. Because in an echo chamber, it sounds good and it's said in your own voice. It provides us with the confidence to think that we are always right. Access to ideology reflective of only our own beliefs releases us from the obligation to challenge ourselves with the perspectives of others. It excuses us from having to back our ideas and opinions with logic, reason, what your teachers would call evidence. Or as John F. Kennedy said more simply, too often we enjoy the comfort of opinion without the discomfort of thought. I challenge your generation to throw away they and get to know each other, to face each other, actually face each other, not through a screen, but in person. To ask questions about that which you do not understand or fundamentally agree with. To listen while the other person speaks instead of forming your rebuttal. I tell my students all the time, I don't care what you think. That sounds bad from the stage. But I tell them, I care why you think it. Beliefs and ideology start with feelings, but legitimacy forces us to ask, not only what do I think, but what do you think? And in this way, you can confirm your own beliefs while still respecting and understanding others. Together, we can compile the best ideas. Because after all, we're on the same team. Attacks that we impart upon each other are, in the end, self-inflicted wounds. If we can't understand each other, how are we to get anything done? Quite simply, we can't. And as a wise chemistry teacher once warned, y'all gonna fail this mess. My challenge for you is to go out into the world and bring with you the ability to make connections like you have done at Eagle River. This year, you worked to accomplish amazing things. Massive community service efforts, including a record-setting polar plunge, a second annual Out of Darkness walk put together by a nationally recognized JROTC program. Your hockey team went to state. Our bowling team took home the state trophy, and you have DDF nationalists sitting among you. Our football team not only went to state for the first time, but finished as the championship runner-up while the rest of the school cheered you on. Woo-woo! None of these are things that one person did on their own. They are things that you accomplished together. They are likely the events that many of you thought back on when I ask you to recall your favorite class memory. When I close my eyes, my most vivid memory of this class is that of November 30th. Never have I been more scared or uncertain than on that morning. I was with a class of mostly senior econ students. Hopefully all of you are in the room today. I watched that class full of unique individuals come together, looking out for each other. And when the shaking stopped and we exited the building, I saw that my classroom was a microcosm of our school. People were helping each other. Upperclassmen were piling kids into their vehicles to keep warm. Keith Sellers must have had 8 kids in the cab of his truck. Yay, Keith. Others were passing out blankets, they were sharing phones. Sterling Retzloff seemed to be everywhere, helping everyone. Ashlyn Platt took time to ask me if I was okay. And while that day is a blur, those memories are very clear. I'd never been more proud to be a teacher at Eagle River High School than I was on that morning. That day is my favorite class memory, and I was far from going it alone. We were together, united in a common effort. We all knew what mattered most. This is a unity that we understand at Eagle River, and a connectedness that I hope you are able to bring with you as you head out into the world beyond our small town. Help us make our world less divided. Connect with other people, those that hold political ideologies in opposition to your own, those with a faith different than your own, those with different cultural backgrounds. Immerse yourselves in social groups, not just social media. Focus not on that which makes us different, but that which makes us united. After all this sitting, I'm sure that Miss Kay and good old Coach Sendin would recommend that we do something physical. So we're gonna do one last activity together, because there's something I promised the seniors that I would do, and I always, so I need a little bit of help. I've talked to you today about making connections and making memories, and there's nothing like a little bit of Queen to help bring us together. So all I need is a stomp, stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap, and maybe a little help on the chorus. Eagle River class of 2019, a class that deserves to be heard and seen. Smiles on your face, poise and grace, going out in the world to make it your place. Singing, we will rock you. We will rock you. Eagle River Wolfpack making your way. Finally gonna graduate today. I'm proud of you, Mom and Dad are too. We can't wait to see what you're going to do. We will rock you. One more time. We will rock you. And just like that.
Thank you, Ms. Ballard. I don't think any of us were expecting that kind of speech. Our last speaker of the afternoon is from Kyla Trout, a woman I truly feel honored to be in the presence of, and someone I am lucky to call one of my best friends. She's known around town not only as an extremely talented volleyball player and wrestler, but as the queen of math and science, and none other than Mrs. Fitness. Kyla plans on majoring in biochemistry next year at the University of Colorado in Colorado Springs. Please help me give it up for our class speaker, Kyla Trout.
Thank you, Melanie. I would like to begin by thanking my classmates for choosing me as their class speaker. No matter how nerve-wracking, it is an honor to be given this opportunity to speak to, as well as for, all of us here today. I would also like to thank my classmates for pushing me academically throughout all 4 years of high school. I'm a highly competitive person, and although school is not a competition, I often viewed it as one. A huge thank you also goes out to the amazing staff of Eagle River High School. We will never be able to express how grateful we are for the education we received from our amazing teachers. Finally, I also want to thank my friends and family, as well as all the friends and family here today, for supporting us in athletics, academics, and extracurriculars. Without all of you, I would not be where I am today, and the class of 2019 would not have achieved all that we have. Thank you again. After agreeing to stand up here in front of thousands of people, I was at a loss for what to speak about in front of such a large group. As many of my friends and family know, I talk a lot. However, I was extremely nervous to get up here and talk today. I wanted to talk about something that wouldn't bore everyone to death. Everyone kept telling me to make my speech funny, but forced humor is the worst humor. So instead, I chose to talk about something more meaningful, and I decided to dedicate this speech to my uncle who died by suicide last May. As a school, we have lost 2 students to suicide in my 4 years here, and as a district, that number increases by quite a bit. So I want to share what I think needs to be heard by not only the students, but our families and our educators. I want to talk about purpose, how everyone has one, and how to find it. According to the Suicide Prevention Resource Center in 2016, suicide was the second leading cause of death in the United States for ages 10 through 34. I think a lot of young people get caught up in the stress of life. I know I have. After endless hours of school, studying, and work, I have found myself thinking, what is all of this for? I wasn't sure what I wanted to do in life or what I was supposed to do. Life is frustrating and stressful, especially for us people at a young age who want to make our own decisions, but have adults telling us what to do at every turn. It is easy to get caught up thinking we have to do this or that or we aren't successful. I believe that this causes the most stress, which when paired with depression or even just a rough winter with no sun, can be devastating. Last year in AP Lang, Mr. Richards assigned us a definition essay, defining anything of our choosing. I wrote an essay on the definition of success. To sum it up, success is self-defined. No one else can tell you if you're failing or succeeding at life. It is all relative to you and your own mindset. With this outlook, I also believe that no matter what, everyone has a purpose. With that being said, I want to talk about how to find that purpose. After deciding to talk about purpose, I did some research on what experts think and recommend for finding your purpose in life. The most prevalent advice I came across was that you don't just find your purpose, you build it. Some people are lucky enough to find their purpose and know what they're interested in and what they want to do right away. However, for others, it doesn't come so easy. It takes some searching and trial and error. It takes time. I know some of you might not know what's coming up next for you, but find something you're interested in, literally anything, and build off that one area of interest. It is going to take some work, but that's why I like saying you build your purpose rather than you find it. Nothing rewarding will come without at least a little bit of hard work. While it is not always the easiest, finding the determination and grit to build this purpose is something that will pay off. I have had the opportunity to see my peers get through some hard times. As we all know from the earthquake on November 30th of last year that put us out of school for a week, not everything goes as planned. Sometimes things get messed up and you have to learn to adjust. This is one of the many examples of determination and grit that my class, our school, our community, our school district, and our entire state exhibited. Not only did we come back to school after a week of reconstruction, we hit the ground running and didn't let that event define the rest of our school year. I remember I was specifically worried I would not be prepared for my AP exams by May. However, when we came back to school, our teachers worked harder than ever and us students worked with them to prepare. I can confidently say that I entered my exams feeling well prepared even with our shortened first semester. As I mentioned before, determination and grit pay off, and I know that every single one of you here today are capable of great things. So please remember your time here and use it as a reminder of all the things that you have overcome and accomplished. And most importantly, use the skills you have acquired to build a purpose that will lead you towards a better life. Thank you.
Wow, Kyla, thank you so much. That was really beautiful. Now we have the amazingly talented Kaylee Spencer singing Don't You Forget About Me. Let's give it up for Kaylee.
I'm going to be honest, I don't really know if I can top the song that my mom sang earlier. So, we're just going to see how it goes, okay?
I'll be alone.
Thank you, Kaylee. I can't think of any better song to lead us into our last stage of graduation. Class of 2019, this is almost it. We are just moments away from receiving our diplomas and officially being high school graduates. Our new beloved principal, Mr. Tim Hits the Gym Helvey, is here to accept our class and give us some words of wisdom.
Class of 2019, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for making my first year at Eagle River High School one to remember. Only have one regret. I regret that I did not have the opportunity to spend more time with you as you progress to this day. Before I begin with the rest of my speech, I would like to take this moment to thank the best staff in the district for all the support they have given me and the class of 2019. Can give them a round of applause. While thinking about the class of 2019, a lot of firsts come to mind. The year started out with a very nervous first-year principal whose first duty was to hand out the spirit stick at homecoming assembly. Yeah, you remember. In an unprecedented move, I gave the spirit stick to the freshman class. Rightfully so, I received a number of boos from your class and others. The best part is, 3 years from now, I got part of my speech already written. Now, you did come back with a vengeance, though, and you won the spirit stick for the first time in all 4 years during the WACO competition. Our football team beat Chugiak for the first time head-to-head and eventually played in the state championship game for the first time in school history. Rifle team won the region championship for the first time. JROTC won the state championship this year at drill competition and went on to nationals in Orlando, Florida. Both boys and girls bowling won their region's top honor. Our robotics program continues to thrive at every level. We have a student who's going on to West Point. We have 2 students who are National Merit Scholar finalists. To be honest with you, I could go on and on and on. But one thing is for sure, the class of 2019, you left your mark. There is one more first that I have not talked about. Now, I've checked all my coursework that I completed in educational leadership, and nowhere, and do I mean nowhere, did I find anything that covers earthquakes. This event, if anything, strengthened us as a school. If there's one thing that I remember about this class, is how you stepped up and helped your fellow students. It was cold that morning when we evacuated the building. Seniors, you allowed students to sit in your cars to stay warm and safe. Since it happened during passing, most students left their phones in the classroom. You allowed students to use your phones to make contact with families to let them know they were okay. When parents were stuck on the highway for 3 hours, you made arrangements with those parents to get students home. The most impressive part is you came back, and you came back again until everybody was home safe. This is how I remember the class of 2019, and I thank you for that. One area that is not a first is the continued academic success that is the foundation of Eagle River High School's culture. The class of 2019 has carried this honorary torch and now pass it on to the class of 2020. I know the class of 2019 will go on to do great things. I congratulate the students, parents, and families of these fine students. Well done. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Will the members of the Eagle River High School class of 2019 please rise? Superintendent Bishop, I have examined the records of each student present and have found that each one has met the criteria for graduation from the Anchorage School District. It is a pleasure for me to present to you and the parents the Eagle River High School class of 2019.
Thank you, Mr. Helvey. And before I do my simple acceptance, I just want to actually thank this. I go to quite a bit of graduations, and the speeches here were phenomenal, from our Milken winner to our students. But Kaylee, you topped the boat for all of us in the audience who were 80-somethings doing what you did in the 1980s. She brought back the Breakfast Club for us, so thank you. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to be here today on behalf of the Anchorage School District Administration as I get the honor to accept the class of 2019 of Eagle River High School. And now, Board Member Marcette, it is my job to present to you this awesome class.
On behalf of the Anchorage School District Board, I proudly and enthusiastically accept the class of 2019 of Eagle River High School.
You may be seated.
Kyla Rebecca Trout. Colin Mitchell Dykes. Melanie Chafee. Brianna Nicole McChesney. Addison Carolyn Swanson. Ashton Paige McClaskey. Ryan Robert Atkins. Kaylee Bryn Spencer. Angela Fawn, cum laude. Caleb Andrew Adamich, cum laude. Cameron Bernard Adams. Alyssa Faith Andrews. Caitlin Elizabeth Andrews, cum laude. Serenity Anaya Argadine. Samantha Renee Ash. I know her. Gloriana Allison Atti. Ahmed Ayala, magna cum laude. Hun Lei Long, Laurie Ballard. Kaylee Brooke Barch. Latham James Barnett IV. Diana Isabel Batista Rivera. Matthew Jacob Beck. Matthew Scott Bellman, cum laude, seal of biliteracy. Shakori Isaiah Benoit. Kaylin Marie Benton, cum laude. Madison Virginia Carol Berard. Aurora St. George Burnt. Madeline Isabella Bittinger, summa cum laude, seal of biliteracy. Ethan Michael Biggs. Christopher Austin Blaine, cum laude. Harley John Daniel Bodine. Braden Joe Boswell, cum laude. Adriana Danielle Botello. Sky Marie Brapson, summa cum laude. Will Brandel. Kirsten Marie Brightbill. Allison Diane Brokaw, seal of biliteracy. William Joseph Brown II. Kelsey Gina Bryson. Ian Gregory Burdick, seal of biliteracy. Garrison Bo Beretta. Meadow Nova Burley. Justice Lee Calloway. Nicholas Storm Carl, magna cum laude. Joshua Tate Carlson. Colby Aaron Carnahan. Michael David Kaywood. Cordell James Clark. Caroline Augusta Corbett, summa cum laude. Oscar Isaac Cortez. Micah Gail Counter. Quinard Tariq Cox. Logan Bailey Crandall. John Thomas Cripps III. Brittany Ann Dara. Dominic Salvador Dema. Sven Vincent James Dix. Janina Elena Draper. Nikolai Edmund Doobie. Logan Christopher Dudinsky. Shelby Ann Dunn. Joshua Logan Estes. Molly Catherine Estes. Piper Alana Evans, cum laude.
Destiny Lynn Fairley. Michael Ryan Farthen. Sabrina Abigail Flores. Hannah Mae Foss, summa cum laude, seal by literacy. Karl-Heinz Sebastian Frage. Allison Brooke Frederick. Colin Maxwell Friedley, magna cum laude, seal by literacy. Jacob Aiden Foltz. Dylan James Garby, summa cum laude. Emma Ann Gilliland. Caleb Wimhai Gladwell, cum laude. Carter Lamonhai Gladwell, cum laude. Brandon Mitchell Glosser. Ethan Michael Glenn. Taylor S. Gongaleski, magna cum laude. Tia Gore, cum laude. Andre Francisco Gutierrez. Grace Deanna Harder. Shelby Ann Hardy. Xavier Dean Harris. Blake Anthony Hatch, seal of biliteracy. James Lee Hatton. John Patrick Heaphy, magna cum laude, seal of biliteracy. Mara Grace Heavner. Colton John Joseph Hester. Ava Christine Hyatt. Clinton Tylen Hightower. Isaac Robert Hopkins, cum laude, seal of biliteracy. Brooke Adia Horn. Cherish Amancio Hubley, magna cum laude, seal of biliteracy. Peyton Elizabeth Jane Hunter. Jennifer Dalila Hunting, summa cum laude. Corbin Hurley. Joshua Raymond Hughes, cum laude. Noah Thomas Iriarte. Raphael Raymond Jedrosco. Stefan David Jedrosco. Alexia Marie Jennings. Tyler Floyd Jennings. Abigail Delaney Jensen, seal of biliteracy. Abby Ray Johnson, cum laude. Luke Alexander Johnson, seal of biliteracy. Tanner Daniel Johnson, seal of biliteracy. Shamika Marilyn Drima Kaiser. Zachary Dean Keith, magna cum laude. Isaac Daniel Kelly. Mino Kim. Orion Deshawn Kim. Aaron Cole Klopfer. Skylar Mackenzie Kecker, magna cum laude. Carol Lee Corzon, seal by literacy. Zosha Corinne Krupa. Mackenzie Shaw Laxo Overland. Christian Daniel Lento. Ashton Taylor Love Salutatorium, summa cum laude. Perry James Lundgren, cum laude, seal by literacy. Alyssa Marie Martinez, cum laude. Mackenzie Ella Martini. Jonathan Edward Matson. Cameron McDonald. Ty Dean McEnany. Landry Christine McGee, magna cum laude, Seal of Biliteracy. Chase Aaron McGraw. Hayden Alexander McIntyre. Paige Victoria McManus, summa cum laude.
Erica Henley Mergens, magna cum laude, Seal of Biliteracy. Talon Skylar Meyer. Kateri Ann Miller. Daniel Chan Min, summa cum laude. Ryan Patrick Mohan. Alexander Pichai Mumala. William John Morcade. Ryan Scott Nelson. Ian Todd Newman. Lauren Nicole Norris. Erin Danielle Pachelski. Jeremiah Logan Parker. Hunter James Panaz. Stephanie Peralta. Mason Maxwell Piper. Ashlyn Patricia Platt. Carolyn Marie Pope, magna cum laude, seal of biliteracy. Claire Catherine Jean Porter, magna cum laude, seal of biliteracy. Kyla Michelle Potter. Luke Gardner Pratt. Amelia Marie Price. Emily Jane Pryor, seal of biliteracy. Braden Forrest Rocco. Jared Nathaniel Rains. Jackson Lee Reed. Sterling Dane Retzlaff, magna cum laude. Robert Clark Reynolds. Madison Nicole Rideout. Alexander Jericho Rinder, cum laude. Shaden Alakai Robinson. Bryson Yeager Rollman. Aaron Matthew Shire. Miriam Gabrielle Schaffman. Krista Renee Sitamona. Keith Simon Sellers, cum laude, seal of biliteracy. Keegan Elizabeth Sharp. Kobe Isaiah Sherman. Nick Silence. Chloe Lynn Silknitter, magna cum laude. Isabella Rose Ferrati Simmons. Spencer David Singleton. Olivia Marie Smith. No. Maya Erin Smith.
Cameron Joseph Spano. Jacob Andrew Spath, cum laude. Joshua Scott Spath. James Edwin Steele. Annalise Marie Stevens. Colton David Struker. Avery Christine Summy, cum laude, seal of biliteracy. Bryce Christopher Tasso, magna cum laude, seals of biliteracy, Spanish and German. Patience Sila Tachi. Justice Alexander Townsend. Callista Bua Shampo Turner. Jonathan David Vanderhoeven, cum laude. Jonathan Jacob Vertrees. Javen Walker. Reagan Kennedy Walker, summa cum laude, seal by literacy. Eric Michael Wallace. Cameron Elizabeth Watson. Orion Nathaniel Weebly. Dylan West. Brendan Matthew Wetzel. Cameron Williams. Helen Wilson, cum laude. Jaden River Winslow. Emily Morgan Whitty, cum laude. Isaac Gray Leo Worley, Jr. Marshall James Yergin. Reese Nathaniel Young. Isabella Therese Zamora, Seal of Biliteracy. Ana Castañeda Castro, Spain. Alicia Prieto Lopez, Spain. Jordan Lourdes Zimas, Germany. Maria Eduarda Teixeira, Brazil, Seal Biliteracy.
Class of 2019, here we are, on the threshold of the rest of our lives. 4 years with you all has gone by so quickly, and I cannot believe it is just moments from ending. Think back to who we were 4 years ago as freshmen. I know, I'm cringing too. but each and every one of us has so much to be proud of from our time in high school. Whether you're going to college or not, whether you're graduating summa cum laude or just barely made it, whether you've been doing varsity sports since freshman year or you avoid exercise at all costs, we've all made great strides in becoming the people we want to be. Everyone sitting in front of me and behind me has had an impact on this school, the teachers, fellow classmates, and this community, and that is truly remarkable. There is so much potential right here in this room, and wherever you all are in 20 or 30 years, this community will look back on the mark that you left fondly. Thank you so much for letting me serve as your senior class president. I'm honored to be here speaking in front of a group of such intensely smart, capable, creative, and driven people. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for the class of 2019. Now, will the senior class officers please join me at the podium to lead the turning of our tassels? Come on, guys. Class of 2019, please stand. Now grab your tassels on the right side to signify our transition from candidates to graduates. Please grab your tassel on the right side, and on the count of 3, we will move it to the left. 1, 2, 3.
Do it! Woo! Okay, no one did it.
Yay! Throw it. Thank you all so much for attending Eagle River High School Class of 2019's graduation. This concludes the evening ceremony.
Oh, no,